There's this dude at the Korean store. I think it might be a family member, but actually there's a lot of dudes like this at that store. It's always packed with people working there. But there's this one guy that just, he handles the refrigerator area where the cans are. And he just counts cans. Like, he puts them in order, counts them, puts them in order, rearranges them, counts them. And when you have to go in there to buy something, he gets a little bent out of shape. So I'm watching him today just having a fucking meltdown, because when I walked in there, there was someone in there getting drinks, but they were kind of taking their time. And then I had to go in. And then after I went in, someone else had to go in. And I could just feel him vibrating. He wants to get back to those cans. I'm not saying he's on meth or anything, but that is the kind of thing those people do, if they're the kind of people that do that kind of thing, if you know what I'm saying. He's not on meth. I shouldn't say he's on meth. A lot of people are here, though. I was just listening to an occult podcast called Occultist Personality. There's a ton of occult podcasts on Spotify. And some of them are good, some of them are just, I don't know, like more entry-level kind of thing. But I was listening to this one, and they had a guy on there called Esoteric Eddie, who I'd never heard of before, but he's got a YouTube channel. And I get this similar kind of thing when I hear people that study esoteric knowledge or metaphysical topics, occultism, things like that. Where, like, it's like when I was in music, you'd show up to a town to play or something in the band that's opening, or whoever, you'd kind of be like, all right, well, let's see what this guy has, you know. I wasn't like that, because of course I wasn't, but, you know, a lot of people would have that thing, like, you know, they fold their arms, like, yeah, well, let's see what these guys can do, or they're not so great, or I could, you know, we're a lot better than these guys. Like that kind of thing. I found myself doing that since I started doing YouTube stuff. I find myself doing that with other researchers. And, you know, I've only been doing this a couple of years, but when I started doing it, I don't know, like 2020, 21, whatever, there wasn't a lot of people talking about this kind of stuff on YouTube. And I remember seeing a guy with like a pretty big following talking about thought forms. Now, like, I've done videos on thought forms, but they're very tentative, and I'm always kind of like, they're a bit sheepish. Like, yeah, this is kind of a hard one to get across to people unless you have some, like, magical background or something. But, yeah, a lot of I started seeing more guys with much more traffic talking about the same stuff that I talked about a long time ago. I'm not saying they're copying me or anything like that. All I'm saying is that there were people that were reaching way more people doing the same thing, and they all appeared at once, kind of. And I think a lot of that had to do with the COVID thing. People were at home, right? And the spiritual awakening thing, the bump of the Schumann resonance in 2012, and then 2016, it popped a lot of people's energy. A lot of people that were already inclined to understand a lot of this stuff just got leveled up, like super leveled up by those Schumann resonance bumps. So there was a lot more people coming out at the same time as I was coming out, you know. But I always have that, like, all right, let's see what this guy knows or doesn't know. And, you know, they're saying he has 2 decades of research. I'm like, 2 decades? I've been doing this my whole life. I got at least 3.5. You know, all this kind of stuff, I'm thinking. And then the guy comes on, and, like, he knows way more than I do. He's really good. He's really good. He's got a YouTube page that I haven't checked out yet. That's Esoteric Eddie TV. But the thing that was striking to me was that his story and mine are very similar. We both used to be in bands and music, former addicts. Always was interested in these topics, but didn't seriously get into it until a few years ago. And the same is kind of for me, because I wasn't doing videos about it. So it was just like a hobby where I would, you know, pick up pieces of information here. And that's another thing, too, the way he researches stuff. He seems to have a better work ethic than I do. He'll grab something and he won't let go of it. Whereas I'll grab something, I'll get as far as I can with it for the time, then I'll be like, well, I can't, this is as far as I can go. I'll put a pin in this, or I'll table it, I'll come back to it, with the hope that I'll run into something else that then brings it to me. He does that too, but he's also a lot more tenacious in his research. In the first, like, 5 minutes of him on, I learned something. You have to listen to, well, I don't know if you're on Spotify, but if you are, it's worth listening to. It's good. I haven't checked out his YouTube channel yet, but I will, and see what's over there. But yeah, a lot more people are understanding this stuff and being able to talk about it. It's not just like weirdos meeting at the Denny's at 2 in the morning to show each other what books they got at the weirdo bookstore, which is kind of how it always was. But I think I think the spiritual awakening, if that's what you want to call it, where people have begun to realize, wait a minute, there is some kind of struggle going on here, and you can't see it. A lot more people have become hip to that, and have delved into it, trying to figure out just what the fuck is going on. I talked to a friend of mine on the island here that is, he's one of the few guys that I can consult about this kind of stuff. He was telling me he feels like something big is going to happen, some kind of event, soon, within the next few months. And I'm like here? He's like, yeah, here and everywhere. He goes, I think it has something to do with AI. And as soon as he talked about that, it seems like everything I read after that online was a similar kind of thing. You know, people talking about the September 22nd, September 23rd thing. I don't like those date type things. I've fallen for them a couple times, you know, because sometimes people that you kind of respect their opinion, or you follow in some way, will get behind one of these things like, you know, and it's sort of made me put the energy into thinking about it, and then it ends up being, it's not a happening at all. It's a nothing burger. So, you know, I don't want to put too much thought or effort into this one, but when he said something like that, I kind of listened. He's not really a big internet guy. If someone points him to something, he'll go look at it. But he's not like me, where he's reading stuff all the time, and you know. So when he said, I'm like, oh wow, because he's very. How do I explain his fucking deal? I don't know. I don't think I can. You just know he's a center for a lot of this kind of stuff. A spiritual kind of magnet or something. I don't know how you describe his deal, but yeah, the 22nd and 23rd, it's some predictive programming. Minutes of Horror had a video about how the 22nd, 23rd, and he was showing a video within his video of a guy that had done all this sort of research, piecing together all these instances in the media, like entertainment programming, that featured these two dates. And it is pretty compelling. Like, there's so much that points to these things. But as I'm watching it, right, I'm seeing all the connections, and you know, there's a part of you that is like, wow, that's weird, that's strange. But I've been seeing this kind of stuff for so long with these people, you know, the farmers, the shadowy jerk-offs in the fucking back rooms, that it's just like, I kind of don't care anymore. Like, I don't want to play their little sort of question game. It's like, who cares? You know what? It's just so tiresome with these people. You know, their gay satanic shit. It's just like, I've seen it so many times. It's like, either do something substantial so we can move on, or shut up, because I'm tired of these fucking little things. Like, yeah, if you watch this episode of Barney Miller from 1985, it's like, I don't care. I get it, they're all spells, and these are all spell components, all pieces of a larger thing that will then be part of ritual magic, basically. Ceremony, these ceremonies they have. But it's like, I don't know. Let someone else do that. I think there's better things that I can focus on within that sort of world that I'm a bit more better with, I guess. I don't know. I just see it and it's like, it's not another one of these again. You know, it's just another one of these. It just gets so tiresome. Their little games are like, look, we'll give you a crumb, follow this crumb. It's like, and then, you know, it comes into the idea of whether it's a horizontal pursuit. Is it taking you away from truth? Because truth is at the top. It's not on the side. It's straight up ahead. It's straight up at the top. So what you're doing is, if I'm sorry if you've heard this before, but the truth is an elevator. As an elevator, being the top floor, being the most truth, the most power, the most knowledge, the most understanding, and you're going up. You're always trying to go up to gain more. If you get up on a floor, well, that's a horizontal pursuit, and that could be anything like finding out the truth about NASA, or the truth about a particular shooting event or something. Or, you know, it's like now you're no longer moving up, you're sideways. You know, like politics. Did I just have this? I might have talked this exact fucking rap the other day, but we'll do it again because I don't use a lot of the stuff I filmed. But yeah, with politics, I mean, it's literally called the left and the right. You know, you're horizontal. The power doesn't move up; it moves back and forth. You're just not going to ball back and forth to each other. No one's gaining any truth or power or understanding because you're in a horizontal position. Power doesn't move horizontally. Nothing good does. Not truth, not understanding, not anything. It's the ultimate kind of keeping the status quo. I think I've started doing this stuff with my hands. That upsets Dave so much. To let people know when I'm walking through a crowd or something that I'm not fucking filming them. You know, I'm wrapped up in a thing, and I think moving my hands, it's like, oh, I'm not filming you, asshole. Because people get really, they all think, almost every one of these robots thinks I'm out there doing a documentary on them. It's not that interesting. I'm not that interesting. I mean, I'm just out here trying to vomit these ideas out with the hopes that maybe they'll go into the collective consciousness and somebody can use a piece of it. Just like take this piece, tie the red string to it, tie it to another thing, take more Adderall. That's the formula. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.